welcome to another edition of Tigers Roar. I'm Tommy Kreisat of Pelican Sports TV, joined by Carter Bryant, my partner in crime here tonight on the program. Carter, how you doing?
I am simply sensational. LSU's beating the University of Georgia right now at halftime, so let's hope the Tigers can keep it going tonight.
Yeah, a lot happening in the world of sports. Hope everybody out there had a very happy Mardi Gras. We know you folks in Lafayette and New Orleans watching Pelican Sports TV. You got a whole lot more to do on Mardi Gras Day than the folks in Baton Rouge. So hope everybody had a fun, safe deal. I grew up in New Orleans, so I lived the Mardi Gras thing many a year. And Carter Bryant from the state of Arkansas, El Dorado to be exact, your first Mardi Gras experience riding in a parade. You did a little of that over there with our friends in New Roads at the New Roads Parade yesterday.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm wearing a ton of red is that later in the show you'll see my Joe Montana impression throwing a football. The wonderful Chris and Marty and everyone has it on tape. So if anyone thinks I'm not a superior athlete, just be ready to see what this old cannon has in store later on. So.
I've seen the tape. Okay, y'all don't want to miss it. Trust me. But no, Carter had fun on Mardi Gras. Of course, Pelican Sports TV, a part of that New Roads Mardi Gras parade, taping it for rebroadcast in that Point Capee Parish area. And we've been doing that for many years. So Pelican Sports TV, as always, had a great time out at the New Roads Parade. Carter riding for the first time in a parade. He told me today he was ready to do it again. It was a lot of fun. It's different. If you've never done something like that, it is fun. And I have done that over the years a time or two.
Yeah, and it's funny because my family has a huge legacy, not only in New Roads, but as far as building the floats. And believe it or not, first place all day, every day, the name of our float was Boot, Scoot, and Boogie. Cowboys, cactuses, and coolers, and I was knocking out a couple coolers of some great, wonderful beverages, I guess.
Refreshments, right?
Refreshments.
You did well in the refreshment category?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and,
that's good. A lot of people do on Mardi Gras.
And I do have to give a shout-out to my uncle, Joe Fobb, the guy that built this float. It was a good team effort, and we took home the trophy yet again, and we're looking forward to taking it home again next week. So you'll see part of that float. You'll see me on it later in the show, and I can't wait to share everyone. I actually have the red T-shirt underneath that we wore on the float. You could see all that later on. And also, once again, I can't say it enough, Joe Montana's right here. And it's going to be unbelievable, people. You really need to stay tuned for this.
Yeah, you really do. I can attest to that. A lot happening in the world of sports. Obviously, LSU basketball is playing as we speak. They're just underway in the second half. We'll keep you up to date with that. Normally on Wednesday nights, we visit with Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Brian's covering the basketball game for TigerBait.com, and will not join us tonight. But we got a lot of other stuff for you. Again, the men's basketball team in Georgia. We'll get you that final score as soon as we have it. Also, LSU baseball had a little afternoon action. The businessman special, as Coach Paul Maneri put it, a doubleheader on campus with baseball at 3 o'clock. Basketball obviously going on now with the 7 o'clock tip. And the LSU Tigers defeated the McNeese State Cowboys from the Southland Conference by a score of 11-4 out at the box this afternoon. About 4,000 people actual attendance. Good number for a 3 o'clock Wednesday game, Ash Wednesday, all the Catholics celebrating all that stuff. But LSU baseball moves out to 4-0 on the season with an 11-4 victory over McNeese State.
And I know the schedule Tommy has, it's really cupcake with a ton of frosting on it right now. A lot of easy teams, a lot of games that you can get easy wins, get those bats going. Casey Yoakum looked especially impressive, the guy that's playing for Jacoby Jones at second base because Jacoby Jones moved to center field to replace Mikey Matuk. It's good to see Casey getting in a rhythm right now early on because Jacoby was a rather productive player, especially in the early part of the year. So let's see how Casey does as the season moves along.
So we got a lot of good stuff for you tonight. We'll talk more about baseball and their 3-0 weekend that occurred last weekend. We're going to talk some softball, certainly men's and women's basketball. Carter's going to take a look at some possible NCAA basketball player of the year, guys. We're going to have some football stuff for you, a little LSU spring football. BCS commissioners are meeting in Dallas this week and talking a little bit about the championship deal. We'll have some golf notes for you. We'll have a run through the LSU athletic department, a little swimming and diving, a little women's golf, a little men's tennis. We'll have all of that for you on the program tonight. So plenty to come, lots of good stuff. Now, as you know, if you're a regular viewer of Tigers Roar, we tape this live each and every Wednesday night. And if you're catching this on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, you got a replay going. And we certainly don't mind you catching the replay Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Friday, it replays in New Orleans. with our friends WHNO TV Channel 20. That's from 5 to 7 p.m. every Friday in New Orleans. But then that also station reaches the North Shore, Hammond, Ponchatoula, Covington, Mandeville, Slidell, Franklinton, Bogalusa, Amite, that whole North Shore area. Hits Bayou Country, Lafourche Parish, Terrebonne Parish, Thibodaux, Houma, and the Mississippi Gulf Coast. That's Fridays from 5 to 7. And don't forget, Wednesday nights, it is streaming online, PelicanSportsTV.com for friends and family outside of South Louisiana. Not that it's going to help you tonight, but every Wednesday, right before this show at 7 p.m., it's Sports NOLA TV with New Orleans broadcaster extraordinaire Ken Trahan, always having good stuff for you as a 1-hour lead-in to Tigers Roar here at 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights. And again, if you're catching a replay on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, we appreciate you taking the time to tune in and check out what we have for you here on Tigers Roar. Year-round program. We're not going anywhere because football is not doing a whole lot this week, but we've got it for you. Football will start spring practice a week from tomorrow, Thursday, March 1st. They will begin. There will be 15 workouts leading up to the spring football game, which this year will be Saturday, March 31st at 12:30 in Tiger Stadium. So I know next week we'll talk about it a lot more, but I think the LSU football fans, the student body who you're very close to, still smarting a little bit after the 21-0 loss to Alabama in the BCS title game. Spring football will give those fans a little something positive to look at, think about, talk about.
And that's a great thing about college football is that if a loss like that happens, there's a very short period until next year begins. And you see what LSU's going into the spring. Of course, a big change is going to be Zach Mettenberger at the quarterback position. How's he going to transition into being the guy? But also on defense, you got to replace guys such as Morris Claiborne, Michael Brockers, two of arguably the most productive players on the LSU defense, along with Tyrann Mathieu last year. So you look at what LSU has to do over the spring. They have to address these issues early and often. Who's going to step up in that deep T position for Michael Brockers? Ego Ferguson's a worthy candidate, but also Anthony the Freak Johnson. Can he build on a solid true freshman year that he had last year? So I can't wait for the spring to start. Looked at some advanced defensive statistics, seeing where the tackles are going to go next year. Can't wait for football to begin.
And, of course, you see the email address on your screen. Any question or comment or topic or thought, send it to pelicanbroadcasting@gmail.com. We answer everything. We'll get it to the necessary person if you want to direct it to Carter or to me, Tommy Krysan, or any member of the Pelican Sports TV or Pelican Sports Radio staff crew. It's pelicanbroadcasting@gmail.com. And speaking of Pelican Sports Radio, we remind you, Monday through Fridays from 3 until 4 p.m. It's Pelican Sports Radio. Most days of the week, Carter Bryant sits in with me. We have guests, we have interviews, we have lots of stuff going on, and we need you to help spread the word. Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. The station is KKAY 1590 AM on your radio dial. It streams online at kkay1590.com as well as global radio kkay.com. There's a free app for your smartphone, TuneIn Radio. You can see the logo on your screen there. Free app, download it. It fires you up. 3 o'clock until 4 o'clock, Monday through Fridays, Pelican Sports Radio. Really need you to spread the word as we continue to build that program on KKAY 1590 AM. Not the only program there. There is an all-day lineup of Baton Rouge and South Louisiana sports on KKAY 1590 AM. Local sports talk every Monday through Friday. Jordy Hultberg, 7 to 9 a.m. Chad Bluen from 9 to 11. Buddy Sanji keeping it spicy from 1 to 3 o'clock. And, of course, Pelican Sports Radio 3 to 4. So check it all out. It's all on the free app. Tune in. The internet, kkay1590.com or global radio, kkay.com. Ask you to spread the word on that. I know, Carter, you've been doing a great job on the Pelican Sports Radio, and you've been with us on Pelican Sports TV in a variety of roles over the years, and now you're kind of pinch hitting as a co-host and the radio, and I know you're enjoying it.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun, and today was an especially enriching experience. We had former LSU shooting guard Alex Farr on the show today, and talk about a guy when he played his heart out, did a lot of different things offensively for LSU, wasn't the best defender at times, and he had a terrible injury towards the end of his career. But the guy was a productive player under Trent Johnson. And just briefly, what he shared with us on the radio program, there was much to do with what Ricardo gathers, a 5-star recruit. What he had to say about Trent Johnson was rather damaging and explosive. He didn't come out and recruit me hard, all that good stuff. Alex Farr put all that to rest and said, listen, we should not trust what he said. Trent Johnson, to me, was an unbelievable coach, and all the people Alex talked to at the LSU basketball facility said the statement's rather idiotic. They said Trent Johnson actually did go out and try and recruit Ricardo Gather, said it wasn't just one game that Trent Johnson attended to try and recruit the kid. So overall, great guest. He's going to be coming on some shows next couple of weeks. We're going to be talking bubble, NCAA tournament, everything, not only LSU, but the world of college basketball. Can't wait to have him on the program later on down the road.
And one other thing about Alex Farr, you know, there's a list of guys who can say they're on an SEC championship team playing basketball at LSU. It's not a real long list, even though with the trips to the Final Four and many guys that have went on to the NBA, many guys going back for decades. But Alex Farr, part of an SEC title team under Coach Trent Johnson. So he's been in the war. He knows the deal. And I thoroughly enjoyed the interview you did with him today on Pelican Sports Radio. And we look forward to more of Alex Farr on Pelican Sports Radio, as well as rolling him into Tigers Roar TV. And again, a great way to keep up with all of that stuff is on our Facebook page. The Facebook page is Pelican Broadcasting. That's the Facebook page. Over 3,000 friends now. We appreciate that. It's a great way to keep up, or you can contact us there, as you know. The YouTube page, youtube.com, Pelican Broadcasting. Got all of Carter's features from the last year and a half or so, some other good stuff that the Pelican crew is out doing. And then the Twitter account is at Pelican Sports. And before we go to break, Carter, kind of shifting gears, if you will, but I got to do it. Obviously, as I said earlier, we taped this program on a Wednesday night. So Wednesday night, February 22nd, go back 32 years on the calendar. You weren't even thought about yet. And one of the more significant special moments in the history of sports in the United States of America occurred. And I know we talked about it on radio today, as we actually got some clips here. It was the USA taking down Russia in the Winter Olympics hockey. And as Al Michaels put it, as the clock ticked down, do you believe in miracles? USA knocked off the significantly, heavily favored professional athletes. Mikey Ruzioni, you just saw there, of USA, and the goalie and the coaches. They were so undermanned to win this game. Keep in mind, it was a semifinal game because they went on to beat Finland for the gold medal a couple of days after this. But the USA shocked the world. Here's the final seconds of the game when the clock is ticking down, and it's when Al Michaels made the famous call that will live forever. Do you believe in miracles? And it was truly a sports miracle that the USA knocked off Russia.
Yeah, and I wasn't alive for it. Obviously, I wasn't thought of, like you reminded me there. But Mike Ruzioni, one of the most chilling moments was when I got to see him light the Olympic torch a couple years ago. And,
right.
That's a big symbol for American sporting history. And you also look, as me as a broadcaster, you have to give Al Michaels a lot of credit. That's one of the best sports calls you're ever going to hear.
Well, and it's etched in stone forever. They will play that thing, 32 years ago tonight. And here's a little something funny and ironic that we talked about on the radio. You know, significant sports events, you try to remember where you were. Of course, significant events in the world, politically and music-wise, you do the same thing. But you see the Russian team staring in disbelief there after they were defeated by the USA. But on this night, 32 years ago, I was in the Assembly Center, which is now known as the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. There was a concert in town, and I'm almost scared to say this, but it was the John Denver concert. You don't even know who John Denver was. Some of you old-timers know. John Denver was playing a concert in the Assembly Center 32 years ago tonight. I was there. I must have lost a bet or something for me to be at a John Denver concert. Either that or it had to do with whatever girl asked me to go, and she was more important than John Denver. I don't know. But I remember during the concert, somewhere in between songs or whatever, they stopped the show and made the announcement that, hey, just want to let all you fans know that the United States has beaten Russia in hockey tonight in Lake Placid in the Winter Olympics. They interrupted the concert to say that. So when the Miracle on Ice happened, I was watching the John Denver concert in the Assembly Center. I can't believe I said that on live TV.
Yeah, well, John Denver, Take Me Home, Country Road, and all that good stuff.
He flew his plane into the ocean and died. So yeah, he got taken home. But that's where I was. You weren't even around yet, but there's other special events in the world of sport. I remember when Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson. I was in a hotel, Washington, D.C. Got back to the hotel, knew the fight had taken place, didn't know what happened. Girl comes around to take our order. We're getting a nightcap and one of those beverages you were talking about earlier at the end of the night. Oh, yeah. So I asked this girl, I'm like, hey, so do you happen to know who won the Buster Douglas-Mike Tyson fight? She goes, oh, yeah, but Buster Douglas knocked him out. And it's like she takes off to go put in our order, and I'm going, hey, this girl doesn't know anything about sports. What does she mean? But she got that backwards. Buster Douglas didn't knock out Mike Tyson. Lo and behold, I found out that Buster did, in fact, knock out Mike Tyson that night. So, so you have those memories. You got any significant sports events where you specifically remember where you were at or what you were doing?
Well, I shared where I watched Game 6 with my dad in my living room, and he tackled me and beat the crap out of me.
Game 6, you're talking about the Bulls in Utah?
Yeah, Bulls 1998, and I'm going to go back to Tracy Porter's interception for the Super Bowl. I just moved to Washington, D.C. to do radio work for Sirius XM, and, the phrase gets thrown over a lot of hell was frozen over for the Saints to win the Super Bowl. Literally, it was, quote-unquote, the snowpocalypse in Washington, D.C. So that was the most snow in D.C. in I don't know however many years. I had to walk 10 miles to an ESPN zone to be able to watch the game, and I had boots and everything. I actually went on a journey. So it was like the Saints' road to the Super Bowl. It was rocky at times, but you eventually got there. So there's a story among the story for me for that Tracy Porter, and I walk outside, and it's one moment that will never leave my mind is one homeless guy actually from New Orleans with a trumpet playing the Saints Go Marching In, and I went over there, I went outside, put my arm around him. I don't know however much money I threw in the little jar right there. And we were dancing in the snow. And my friend John Thomas Shepard, who played quarterback at the University of Rice, he's my best friend. He just moved to D.C. He was out there laughing his tail off. It was an unbelievable experience. Tracy Porter, thank you for giving me a moment that I will never forget.
I was sitting in a hotel in the French Quarter when Porter made that interception, and then, of course, I spent some time in the quarter after the game. When we come back, plenty of LSU basketball stuff to get into for you. We'll update you on their contest with Georgia going on as we speak. He's Carter Bryant. I'm Tommy Christ saying spread the roar. You're watching Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans, and on the internet at pelicansportstv.com.
I am Glenn Big Baby Davis, and you're watching Pelican Sports Television.
I'm attorney Kerry Bryson. An IRS problem is a serious legal matter. The IRS has thousands of agents trained to understand it all. So don't trust an out-of-town salesperson. Come meet with us in person at our office right here in Baton Rouge. Your first visit will be free and confidential. If you're a Louisiana resident and have an IRS problem, hire a Louisiana attorney. Hire me, Kerry Bryson.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal, bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a Formal Affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
Hey, everyone's eating tacos outside Bill's office. Don't you think that's some information I would like to know? I like tacos. You invited Eric? I thought Eric gave you the creeps. Oh. Yeah. Hey.
Don't be left behind. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, is getting faster with 4G.
Now is a great time to lock into buying a new home. Come buy our decorated model home in Greystone of Prairieville. We are starting the development of our second filing and offering builders special closeout pricing on the remaining homes in our first filing. No money down, and builders pay closing costs. For more information, visit our website at greystoneofprairieville.com. Come home to Greystone.
In the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain.
Oh, they're playing John Denver, Carter. They're killing me, and the better must have lost.
I actually like John Denver. After our soccer victories back in high school, we would thank John Denver because our coach loved it. So I don't mind. I love it. Use him in victory.
Rocky Mountain, huh? Yeah, he hied it right into the plane into the bay in San Francisco. LSU's up 37-30 over the Georgia Bulldogs about 12 minutes to go in the game at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. After this game, 3 games left for the Tigers. They're trying to get above 500 tonight, Carter. They're 6-6 in conference play, and they have not been above 500 more than halfway through the conference schedule in many years. You got to go back to the SEC championship year. This team, as we've talked about on radio, I've talked about, did an interview in Fort Walton Beach, Florida today about LSU basketball on the radio with Scott McKinney of Southern Sports Tonight. And this team has continued to get better. And if they can hang on and beat Georgia tonight, you see their overall record 16-10, 6-6 in conference play. The first conference road win of the season came last Saturday against South Carolina up in Columbia, South Carolina. That was on the heels of the overtime win against Mississippi State. Georgia tonight in the PMAC has some highlights against South Carolina, and they'll go to Ole Miss Saturday. But this basketball team is trying. I'm not saying they're an NCAA tournament team yet. They're trying to become one.
Yeah, and you go into the SC tournament, and they're going to have to beat a team like Kentucky or Vanderbilt impressively. But you look at what they did against South Carolina this weekend. Justin Hamilton was just too much size inside. Storm Warren actually played his best game in conference play, doing the things that don't show up on the stat sheet well, tipping balls out to reset the game set. As you see right here, he takes an alley-oop. He's doing a lot of great things right now. He's playing a great game against Georgia, hitting a lot of pull-up jumpers, and you're starting to see why Johnny O'Brien is one of those guys that is going to be a next-level type of player for LSU. Down the road, he has a good chance of being a lottery pick, a late first-round, early second-round guy, and you're really seeing that tonight, really attacking the boards against Georgia. Was a player of the game, according to the ESPN broadcast this past weekend. As you see here, takes the ball from the high post, takes a great shot. He's starting to space himself out on the court better. He's starting to understand the game a lot better. And once again, Justin Hamilton, as you see here, too tall for most of the opponents he plays in the SEC, and he's starting to kill it on the offensive glass.
And one thing I like about Storm Warren, he has become a better player because the people around him are better. He is able to better showcase his talents. He hit a turnaround jump shot earlier tonight in the game against Georgia when I was watching before we started this show, and I made the comment, if he can keep hitting that shot, that's great news for LSU. So Storm Warren, senior from up in Monroe, doing really well. You see the graphics on Justin Hamilton, and we're going to talk here about Justin Hamilton. 14 points a game, we'll call that. 7 rebounds, free throws, respectable percentage. 7-foot guy who gets in the way. He makes things happen on both ends of the floor, in the paint, under the goal. But he's also that guy that can get out there at 14, 15 feet and knock down a jump shot. He has hit a couple of threes during the course of the season, not afraid to shoot it from out there. He's got a nice shot for a big guy. You see it right there. Turn around, squared up against Mississippi State and knocked it down. Justin Hamilton is one of the key reasons why this LSU basketball team is much better this season.
And the key reason why Justin Hamilton's gotten better is because he's starting to get more aggressive as the year goes along. Alex Farrar brought this up on the radio program earlier today that Justin Hamilton at times he'll disappear when it comes to making the big rebounds down the stretch. That has changed as of late. As you see right there, he does a great job of positioning his body down in the paint area. Does a lot of different things well on offense. Attacks the high post. He's able to pass out of double teams. He can also step out, hit a 12-footer with another 6'8" guy right in front of him because he can still see over him. That 7-foot mismatch is tough. And really, when you look at the conference, there's not a lot of guys that can match up with him. You look at Azili out there at Vanderbilt. He has the ability to guard him, and Anthony Davis for Kentucky. Those are really the only 2 players I see that have a legitimate shot of stopping Justin Hamilton when he's aggressive, when he's dominant like that. That's the 27-point performance he had against the Florida Gators this year. He's becoming a better basketball player, but he's also understanding, hey, I can be a dominant 7-footer here at the SEC level.
Well, and he's not the quickest guy around, but he's so big. He takes up space, but he does things when a lot of guys have taken up space and didn't do anything. He does things on both ends of the floor. He's not going to block at 10 shots. He's not going to, pull down 15 rebounds every game, but that's one of those things that's not in the box score that I've always said about basketball. You take somebody like Justin Hamilton, who is, going to block a few shots. You don't know how many shots and plays or trips down the court he affected by just being present. It doesn't show up in the box score that maybe the guy didn't take the shot because he feared Hamilton may block it and he passes it and then they don't get a shot or they turn it over, almost like the hockey thing, like the assist thing. That's what Hamilton has been doing on this court is, even though he's not putting a mark in the scorebook or in the box score, he's being effective because he's so big, so agile. He's not quick, agile is the difference. He can make it happen when other people are around him.
And people forget, he's a transfer from Iowa State. He's a guy that had to find his way down in the SEC. That's a big difference going from the Cyclones to go play for Trent Johnson. And what a find Trent Johnson has. And he's going to be the centerpiece for this team next year, as they're going to have 5 returning starters. So it's going to be great to see him build around these great guards we're about to highlight.
You don't think Justin Hamilton ventures off to the NBA?
I mean, he doesn't, because right now he doesn't have the foot speed. He gets beat baseline a little too often. And in the NBA, where a lot of plays are isolation, guys like, let's go with Amari Stoudemire, Dwight Howard, they have that quick first step on the baseline.
They need him up right now.
Yeah, Justin Hamilton's not ready for that kind of level, even a Brook Lopez. But the one thing that will help out Justin Hamilton going further, we might get into some NBA later on, is that you look at the great 7-footers in the NBA right now. There's not many. This is a guards league right now. Tim Duncan on the back leg of his career. There's only real one dominant center in the NBA, and that's Dwight Howard. And I think he's a benefit of his time playing against other inferior guys. So Justin Hamilton, down the road, when it comes to the NBA, and you're also seeing with Dirk Nowitzki, if you're a 7-footer that can also step out and hit a long shot, I mean, you can find yourself a long career in the NBA. He has to be better defense, and he should be averaging more than 7 rebounds a game at 7 foot.
All right, another LSU player with some key statistics and another reason for the success, Andre Stringer from Jackson, Mississippi, 10 points a game, 27 steals. You'd like to be shooting better from the three-point line, although the free throw percentage clip is pretty good. Andre Stringer, he needs to shoot better from the three-point line. He needs to hit some shots. He needs to improve on hitting some shots for this team if they're going to continue to progress.
Yeah, and Andre Stringer goes on with Ralston Turner. They both serve similar roles on this team as scorers on the wing. You have to be able to hit the outside shot, and Andre's been on and off this year, and I've cited this every time we highlight Andre this year, is he's an undersized 2 guard. He's under 6 foot tall, and he's playing up against guys that are 6'2", 6'3" every week, compared to when he ran point guard last year, where he could not only see over the defender better, he could also size up the shot from the get-go because he's taking the ball down the floor. So he had more control over the kind of shots he was getting last year. Now he's learning having to come off screens, having to shoot, catch and shoot in that situation. Where you see Ralston Turner, he's used to that. And Ralston, he hadn't been playing as well as people thought he would be this year as well. Both these guys need to step it up if LSU wants to make a run for an NCAA tournament berth.
Another guy who I know you're very high on, and he's getting noticed more and more every week, not just in the Southeastern Conference, but across the nation. Anthony Hickey, the freshman from Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where he was Mr. Basketball in Kentucky last year after leading his team to the state title. Also played quarterback on the football team, but we'll leave that alone. 9 points a game. He's got a bunch of steals. Would like to be better at the free throw line and probably a little bit better from three-pointers. But Hickey at times looks like a freshman. At times he looks like a sensational guy who's been around for a long time. And it's obvious that the upside is tremendous for Anthony Hickey. And as he gets better, so will LSU basketball continue to do the same.
And the one thing about Anthony Hickey is that he's also a very exciting basketball player, because you watch that South Carolina game, it was a relatively boring game, but at times when the game got really slow, Anthony Hickey would take that ball out of the basket after a make or even after a miss and push the tempo, really put the defense back on their heels. And the one thing Hickey does really well as far as a point guard is concerned is when he gets in transition, he makes you make the decision to commit to him. If you don't commit to him, he's going to go all the way and lay it in. So he's very smart with the basketball when it comes to going in transition. Now, the reason why Anthony Hickey is becoming a great player as a true freshman is that he's gotten better in the half court. You're starting to see him control the pace of games, setting up the offense, waiting for an open three such as this one to open up against a zone defense instead of just jacking something up. And as you see right here, if there's nothing open, as the time's running out in the first half, he wants to take that final shot, and here's the steal. He's one of the SEC leaders, second in the conference, I believe, with D. Boss for the most steals this year. And he's really doing a lot of different things well for LSU.
And one thing that I noticed about Hickey this past Saturday against South Carolina, the guard for South Carolina, Ellington, who's also a wide receiver on the Gamecock football team, probably one of the quickest guys in the country on a basketball floor. Hickey held his own with that tremendous speed of Ellington, and of course Ellington will play football with South Carolina when they come into Baton Rouge October 13th this fall. So, that was something I wanted to see, that matchup, and I watched that entire game last Saturday, LSU and South Carolina on the TV, and Hickey did what he had to do and more. Of course, big thing was LSU won the game, their first conference road victory of the season.
And I cannot stress this enough, Tommy. Every time we talk about Anthony Hickey, in NCAA basketball play, when it comes tournament time, you have to have that point guard to run your show. And you look at what Butler did last year. Let's just take Butler, for instance. They had a guy by the name of Shelvin Mack, who was the point guard for both these great tournament runs. You look at what he did. I mean, he set everything up. I mean, he had Gordon Hayward the year before, lose him, same team. And they had Ronald Norwood as well, another great ball handler, another guy that was able to set the offensive sets the next year. You see that with every point guard, every NCAA tournament team. Look at those championship teams. They had a point guard who knew how to run the show. Anthony Hickey's one of those type of guys that I want to take LSU to the next level. Tweeting Shaq a couple weeks ago, we want to get the program back where you guys used to have it. So if you have one of those guys at a young age really pushing the other guys on the team, I remember after a loss, I just saw him walking around. He said, I hate losing. He can't stand it. And that's the drive of the champion that you need at the most important position in basketball.
Well, LSU's hanging on right now. It's late in the second half. We'll get you a score update as soon as we can. I believe LSU's got a 3-point lead in the second half of that game. Keep in mind a couple of things. LSU's got the home game against Georgia tonight. They're on the road Saturday against Ole Miss. Next Wednesday night, we'll be doing Tigers Roar again, but the Tennessee Volunteers will be in town to play against LSU. And then that following Saturday, March 2nd, the last regular season game, LSU at Auburn. All those games are winnable.
Yeah, and you look at what LSU's gotten as far as offensively is concerned. They're becoming a balanced team. We talked about a post player in Justin Hamilton. We talked about a wing player in Andre Stinger, and we talked about a point guard in Anthony Hickey. LSU's gotten to the point where if those three all play terrible, they can still win basketball games. With Johnny O'Brien and Storm Warren in the post, Malcolm White putting up good minutes today against Georgia, Chris Bass also having a great senior season. I thought he was just miserable going into last year, turned the ball over way too often. He's been that great bench point guard for them this year. And Rawson Turner, another guy who can score a lot of points at any point. He's the one that had the huge three early in the shot clock to seal this last weekend's game. LSU becoming a complete team. Let's see if they can close it out tonight against the Bulldogs.
Now, LSU, we're going to see what happens with Bulldogs tonight. If they can win 3 of the last 4, finish 9-7 in the conference play, good news is the SEC tournament is in New Orleans at the New Orleans Arena. All you folks in New Orleans are going to have to get out there to the arena March 8 through 11 whenever LSU's playing and to enjoy SEC basketball. So if they can do that, win the 3 out of 4, and then win, if they win 3 out of 4, I think they got to win 2 games in the conference tournament. Then they'll be in the NCAA tournament. If they run the table, go 4 out of 4 counting Georgia tonight, and finish 10-6 in conference play, I think 1 win in the SEC tournament. Depending on what happens in the other conferences around the country, the other conference tournaments, you know, that you don't have any conference winners from a conference that's maybe only going to give up 1 team, and then somebody else wins the tournament, and then they're going to end up with 2 teams. So there's a lot of strings attached, if you will. But this team will certainly be in the NIT, but could end up in the NCAA. It's not a given by any means. It's still a stretch, but it could happen, and that would be great news for LSU basketball fans.
And when bubble time comes around, that's what you got to hope for as an LSU fan if you want this team to make the tournament this year. You got to hope the Murray States of the world win their conference tournament. St. Mary's, you got to hope they win their conference tournaments. Teams from these smaller mid-major schools that mid-major conference that are going to get an NCAA tournament berth no matter what happens in a conference tournament. So let's see if LSU can get that luck. But also, I really do believe LSU needs 2 wins in the SEC tournament because that second win's going to be against a better ranked team. That's going to be against a Florida, a Vanderbilt, or a Kentucky even. So LSU, if they can get that done, let's see if they can sneak into this year's NCAA tournament.
When we come back, we're going to let Carter Bryant tell you his NCAA Player of the Year prospects. We'll go into that in men's basketball. Then we'll talk a little Lady Tiger basketball. Their final home game of the regular season will be tomorrow night, Thursday night the 23rd, when they host Vanderbilt. Carter Bryant, Tommy Chrysant, you are tuned to Tigers Roar on PelicanSportsTV.com and Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans. Stay with us.
Friday, February 24th, coming to the Texas Club in Baton Rouge, Styx. Sale now at at Ticketmaster and the Texas Club box office.
For the thirsty, for those who hang out in packs, for heroes, for sidekicks, for those who see the glass half empty, for those who see it half full, for those on the right, for those on the left, for those with nicknames, for those with curves, for people that cycle, for people that recycle, for BFFs, for frenemies, for those with style, for lovers, for families, for big families, for everyone.
What did you do this week? That's just some of the fun things we do every week here at Space Camp. Get more information about our programs at spacecamp.com. I want you to come join our team.
Attention, all companies dealing with cash flow problems. Companies are going out of business every day. Bankruptcies are at an all-time high. Accounts receivable delinquencies are at the highest levels in decades. Let us help your business collect money owed to your business. NRH and Associates has the solutions. Let NRH and Associates utilize their innovative collection methods to get cash flow back into your business. Call 601-889-0501. That number again, 601-889-0501.
We continue with Tigers Roar TV on a Wednesday night. Spread the roar about our program. Find us on Facebook at Pelican Broadcasting. Well, you saw a commercial in the last break. You know, we like rock and roll around here a little bit at Pelican Broadcasting.
And John Denver.
Yeah, well, I lost a bet on that one. But anyway, you saw the little promo, the commercial for Sticks with Tommy Shaw going to be at the Texas Club 2 nights from now, this Friday night, February 24th. Tickets are still available at Ticketmaster.com. Ticketmaster locations, or you can go to the box office Thursday night at the Texas Club. Get those tickets. There are some left. TheTexasClub.com is their website. But also close to Pelican Broadcasting, we want to tell you about a brand new CD by an outstanding rock group from New Orleans. All you New Orleans folks remember Lily and Axe. They've got a new CD out called The Days Before Tomorrow, and we want you to go get that CD. And we got a little special treat for you here, all about that CD and the new Lily and Axe release. Enjoy right here.
There's a question mounting in my head. There's a three-headed monster hiding under my bed. Fire! It was a dead zone. It was a war zone. It was our only home with the pleasantries of battle. But how else could we see it? I'll take the bullets for you. Feeling cold as the days disappear. Bow your head, and all the world will take your hand and pave a golden road for you. Black skies illuminating, my destiny is waiting now. Death comes tomorrow.
And you can go to lilyandaxe.com or Best Buy and iTunes, all Amazon, all those outlets, Newberry Comics. Lily and Axe, it's outstanding. I've been listening to it in the car for about a week now. It was just released Valentine's Day, as a matter of fact, and I've been rocking all over Baton Rouge and Ascension Parish listening to Lily and Axe. It's in the car right now as I speak. No John Denver, just Lily and Axe. Hey, Carter Bryant's all up on college basketball hoops, and he's got a couple of guys who he considers his NCAA Player of the Year prospects. First one up is a junior, Thomas Robinson from Kansas, 6'10", 237. Big guy, 17 points. Look at the steals and the blocks. Field goal percentage, very good. Free throw percentage, close to good. But your thoughts on Thomas Robinson as an NCAA Basketball Player of the Year?
Well, first off, just look at that graphic of him. Goodness gracious, it looks like he'll eat your face off.
He looks stronger than Anthony Hickey.
I mean, goodness, he can really do it all for Kansas, and that guy's a double waiting to happen pretty much every night. And you don't see these kind of post players anymore. These guys that just get after, outwork you, outplay you, outsmart you, and you see Thomas Robinson against one of the more athletic players in the country there, Mason Plumlee, blows right by him for an easy layup.
Is he left-handed?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
no, he's...
I saw him go to the left hand, both as the right hand, but he's number 0 on your screen in white. But, okay, he's right-handed.
Yeah, and
that's a 15-foot jumper, about 17-foot actually.
But that's my next point about him. I mean, look, he's not really that tall, but he uses both hands well, has a wide variety
Why
of
is he
post
still at
moves.
Kansas?
Well, I mean, this is his first year to really be that guy for
He's
this
really
year.
jumped up a bunch?
Yeah, and
Okay.
you're seeing what he's doing along with Tyshawn Taylor. And if you take Thomas Robinson or Taylor off this team, you could even argue that Kansas is struggling to stay in the top half of the Big 12. Thomas Robinson could very well be the most valuable postman on any team in college basketball. That's why Kansas is battling for a 1 seed right now. That's why they've been pretty good this year against a very tough Big 12 with Baylor and Missouri under first-year head coach Frank Haith. Thomas Robinson really does it all, and he's a joy to watch in the paint. And come tournament time, those lunch pail type of outwork you post players can really do it all. He has the athleticism to match it, and he will be a top 5 pick in next year's NBA draft.
As we know, college basketball is a guards game. It's a game of guards because all the prolific big men are already in the NBA. But you're saying that Thomas Robinson has really stepped it up this year, and he'll probably be a lottery pick.
He will. And under Bill Self, they're doing everything right now at Kansas. I think they're in a good position to make a Final Four run if you have a player such as Robinson, a guy that can really do so many different things. Look at him out hustling to get that loose ball. With Tyshawn Taylor and a bunch of other players for Kansas who have improved, they're starting to play the right kind of basketball you need to win come tournament time, when all that matters right now, when it comes March, can you win every game that's ahead of you? That's it. Win and survive. Kansas has those type of players this year. They had that terrible loss to VCU last year. They want to fix that and take it to a long run in March Madness.
Another player Carter Bryant's very high on is a senior from Michigan State, Draymond Green. Tell us all about Draymond Green.
Draymond Green, look at him. I mean, he is one of the most affable personalities in college basketball, and his nickname, so well suited for him, the Dancing Bear, because he plays a game with so much energy, so much hype, so much athleticism, and the one thing about his stats right there, those stats, 15, 10, and 3. Those stats haven't been put up in Big Ten play since a guy by the name of Tim Duncan played for Wake Forest. And goodness, it's amazing what all he does in college basketball. Excuse me, that's the first time it's been done in the country. So you're looking at what Draymond Green's doing. He can hit different shots. He can score, block shots. And the one thing that makes him a Spartan above all is that he's going to go and out-rebound you. And Michigan State players, they're undersized, as they always are, but they always kill you on the boards. And that's why Michigan State is a lock. And Tommy, take it to the bank. They're a lock for a Final Four this year because they have the best coach in college basketball when it comes to March Madness in particular, and Tom Izzo. He gets more out of his talent than anybody. That includes Coach K. That includes Jim Boeheim. You look at Appling, Rowe, a lot of different players that Michigan State have in the post area. They're going to be a difference maker come March.
Another thing about Michigan State, they've played one heck of a schedule. Played North Carolina, played Duke in pre-conference play. I mean, they've stepped it up, and of course in the Big Ten. So Draymond Green, the Dancing Bear from Michigan State. As we get a little closer to the NCAA tournament and Selection Sunday, which is a little over 2 weeks away, certainly Carter will have plenty more insight on the NCAA March Madness. We'll get Alex Farr in on all of that stuff as well. When we come back, it's time to talk some LSU women's basketball. Coach Nikki Caldwell's Lady Tigers on a 5-game win streak, heading into a contest tomorrow night with Vanderbilt. We'll tell you all about them and more. Carter Bryant, Tommy Krysan. You are tuned to Tigers Roar. Spread the roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans, and on the internet at pelicansportstv.com. Stay with us.
Hey, where you can expect to find the best pre-owns right here at North American Auto on Airline in Gonzales. Folks, every car comes with a warranty. Cars, trucks, SUVs, you name it, we got it. Get pre-approved, brcarcredit.com. Folks, don't you leave till you see me.
One of the key attributes that really puts Papa John's Pizza over the top is our meats. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
For just $11, get our new double-layered premium pepperoni pizza, loaded with a layer of our signature pepperoni, plus a layer of oversized deli-style pepperoni. Just $11 for a large. Plus, get double points all weekend long and earn free pizza fast with Papa Rewards, only at papajohns.com. Sign up now.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
I'm attorney Kerry Bryson. An IRS problem is a serious legal matter. The IRS has thousands of agents trained to understand it all. So don't trust an out-of-town salesperson. Come meet with us in person at our office right here in Baton Rouge. Your first visit will be free and confidential. If you're a Louisiana resident and have an IRS problem, hire a Louisiana attorney. Hire me, Kerry Bryson.
When you need to hire, you need to know about BetterBatonRougeJobs.com, BetterAcadianaJobs.com, and NewOrleansJobsList.com. We have a faster, more affordable way to find and hire employees. Now you can save even more with the special offer from Pelican Sports TV. Post your jobs on any of these sites and use the promo code Pelican Sports to save an additional $25. Find qualified applicants and save money too with promo code Pelican Sports. And remember, we're free for job seekers and great for Louisiana business.
Hey, you expecting a refund and want a new car? Come to North American Automotive Group on Airline. We make it easy. Bring your W-2, file your taxes, use it towards your down payment, and drive home today. North American Auto on Airline.
All right, update on LSU basketball. Under 3 minutes ago, about 2.5 minutes ago, and the Tigers lead by 9 points. Is that correct? 9-point lead for the Tigers. They need to hang on. They are in the double bonus at the free throw line, so any fouls by the Georgia Bulldogs will send the Tigers to the line. Free throws are always important. LSU looking to go to 7-6 in conference play. Nobody thought that a few weeks back.
LSU's going to win this game, and
oh yeah, you sure of that?
Yeah, they're going to win this game, and they're going to keep going. And I see them still going undefeated in conference play. I think they're better than every team left on the schedule. They have Tennessee coming. Tennessee is not that great on the road because you look at what they did against Alabama. Alabama crushed them. Tennessee, of course, did beat Florida on the road earlier this year, but Florida's always had their troubles with the Volunteers. That's the only team on the schedule I see LSU really having troubles with down the road because LSU is so balanced, because they're starting to attack you for so many different ways. And also, LSU's showing some depth tonight. I mean, Malcolm White played a lot better than he had since his Kentucky fiasco. Let's see if LSU can keep this going and keep it on defeating opponents rather easily.
Another thing, if you're an LSU fan, that you got to be thinking about and looking at as this team goes forward, especially if they continue to win, their RPI rating is in good shape right now. It needs to be in better shape. But if you're an LSU fan, you need Marquette to continue to win. People like Mississippi State continue to win because LSU's got the victory over them when they were ranked. You know, Virginia, who's having a little rough time in the ACC, but LSU hung with them in Baton Rouge. You want all the teams that LSU played to do well the rest of the way so that it'll help strengthen the LSU RPI.
And here's a problem that LSU is going to have coming up, though, is because their wins are so weak. Their two best wins of the year, in my opinion, is Marquette. That's a great win. Buzz Williams on the road. But that's always tough for a Big East team to travel down the LSU around Christmas time. Also, Alabama. But Alabama, that wasn't a full-strength Alabama team who was missing their four best players. So that's going to both factor in if LSU come tournament time is on that bubble. Let's see if they can get in.
Buzz Williams, Marquette coach, former University of New Orleans basketball coach as well. Let's talk a little Lady Tiger basketball. Nikki Caldwell's Lady Tigers have won 5 straight. Big win against Auburn in the PMAC this past weekend, 57-41. Their last regular season home game will be tomorrow night, February 23rd, against Vanderbilt in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. Looking for that 20th win overall. They're 19-8, 9-5 in conference play. They'll conclude the regular season at Georgia on February 26th. Is this a tournament team, Carter?
I don't think they are, and they've had some really bad losses. That Arkansas loss was a catastrophe. If they do something in the SEC tournament, they probably will get in. I'll change my opinion on that just for the fact that the SEC has had an up and down year. You look at Vanderbilt. If LSU's able to beat them, this is a Vanderbilt team that just got crushed by Kentucky. So if you do certain kind of logic, LSU beat Kentucky earlier this year at home. If they take care of Vanderbilt, you beat both those teams. I think LSU does find a way to get in. I'm more negative because I'm not really pleased with how LSU's playing right now. They are winning, but they should be running better offensive sets. They need to be finding easier ways to get Lysandra Baird because instead of winning games, they're surviving. Of course, Auburn, that was an impressive victory, but Auburn's terrible. this Alabama game was a big chink in the armor, I guess you could say.
Also, this is a highlights in Alabama. That's Alabama wearing the pink uniforms, the breast cancer awareness deal. And those of you that have the trained eye, you'll notice that this basketball game is not in Memorial Coliseum where the men's basketball team plays. The Alabama women play in a different arena there in Tuscaloosa. And that's got to be, if not the only one of the very few major college basketball programs where the men and women have a different home arena.
Yeah, and that game right there was a tough one for LSU. They were on the road. They were playing an Alabama team that played tough. LSU, Alabama, they're always close games. It just didn't look good. I mean, they couldn't get into any kind of offensive rhythm. They found a way to win like they have been. They just need better perimeter play. They need to run cleaner offensive sets in order for this team to live up to their full potential, because look at Bianca Luckley. She's playing some great basketball for them right now, adds a lot of polish in the outside game whenever they play teams that are going to play zone. And come tournament time, when LSU does get into the NCAA tournament, they're going to be playing a lot of zone defense because Lysandra Barrett, as you see her knocking a layup, is such a dominant player in the post area.
Let's take a look at some of the statistical leaders for the women's basketball team. You mentioned Lysandra Barrett. She's always going to be coming up on the screen when we talk about this. 12.5 points a game, 7 rebounds, 43 steals, decent free throw percentage. Lysandra Barrett, a key part of Nikki Caldwell's team.
No doubt the leader of this team, no doubt the best player of this team, and she's the reason why they're able to beat Alabama on the road. She went an impressive 19-11 performance. And she's been great all year for them. I mean, she helped seal the deal against Arkansas, 11 points in that one in these low-scoring affairs, and she's the main reason why this team is so successful this year.
Another key player for Nikki Caldwell's Lady Tigers, Adrian Webb, 9.5 points a game, 23 steals, field goal percentage, free throws very good. She needs to get to the free throw line more often, 87%. Adrian Webb.
Yeah, she needs to be more aggressive going to the rim. If her outside shot isn't working, go to the line, and she's been that outside presence that LSU has needed this year. I've been critical of her at times because I know she has the ability to be a 15-point scorer in conference play. She will get better come tournament time. She does have a good history of finishing season strong. Let's see what Adrian could do coming up in the coming March.
Another key player for the Lady Tigers, Courtney Jones. Courtney Jones, little over 8 points a game, 31 steals, field goal percentage, free throw percentage. Courtney Jones, another key player for Nikki Caldwell's Lady Tigers.
CJ, what a great presence in the post she is. She has been a great player for LSU.
How tall is she?
She's a good 6'2", 6'3".
Okay.
One of the many 6'2", 6'3" players. There's also Swayze Black down there who is an amazing athlete, unbelievable strength down there. LSU has a lot of players. Teresa Plaison, she has a lot of size as well. She can also step out and hit those long shots. Let's see what LSU can do with these bigs. Let's see if they can really force matchup problems, and that's going to be up to Nikki Caldwell. Can she get these players open down low? Can she get mismatch advantages for this team to really take it to the next level and run those tight offensive sets? As you see right here against Florida, you're able to work to get a shot down low, get a good shot over a smaller defender. LSU has the size. They have no Brittany Grimers out there in Baylor who's 6'8". They have nobody like that. But they do have these 6'3", 6'4", which is taller than most teams in college basketball. If they can do that, they could put up a lot of points on the board, more than these 50 pieces of crap that I've been seeing from them. If their guards play better, such as Adrian Webb, Kenny, they can become one of those type of offensive teams that instead of putting 56 to 60, you're putting up 70 to 75.
Speaking of women's basketball, is Baylor going to win it all? Coached by Kim Mulkey. Hammond High School outstanding player, Louisiana Tech outstanding player, Olympics outstanding player, native of the Hammond area. Kim Mulkey, the Lady Bears. Is it a shoe-in that they win the women's title?
Yes, it is. And unless Sylvia Fouts gets another year of eligibility at LSU, nobody can stop Grimer. She is something else. I mean, I watch her.
She can play for some men's teams in this country.
I mean, she is 6'8", and the triple teams come, and it's just no chance. I mean, I was watching the highlights against Texas yesterday. She gets the ball, and literally there's 3 people around her. She just turns and just kisses off the glass, and it's in. It's impossible, and another thing she's starting to develop later in her career, and it's unbelievable. Me being a post player enthusiast, even though I'm a guard, there's not that many cerebral post players left, players that really know how to play the game. When Grimer sees quadruple teams at times, she knows just to kick it out for an easy lane or kick it out for an easy three-point shot, but the best part of her game, the ability to block shots and be the nuisance in the middle that nobody can stop in college basketball this year.
Speaking of girls playing with the guys, Kim Mulkey, as a youth, played Dixie Youth baseball in the boys program.
Really?
In the Hammond Recreation Department over there in Hammond, Louisiana, and was one of the better players in the entire league, regardless of position or whatever. But and then what she did at Hammond High and Louisiana Tech, I want to say, I'm going to have to look this up, but in 4 years of starting at Hammond High and 4 years of starting at Louisiana Tech, 8 years, I think she lost like 9 games,
Wow.
10 games. I got to look that up. It's something phenomenal like that. Just a unbelievable athlete.
And she probably has more hits in that 1 year Dixie baseball than I had my whole career, so that's pretty impressive.
Well, if she had one, she's probably topped you there,
wow,
Carter.
wow.
You know, we've seen you on Tigers Roar specials here on Pelican Sports TV. Hey, as we head to this next break, we have another little musical special treat for you. Member of the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame singing It's a Male Thing, Debbie Traylor. Enjoy as we roll the break.
Surfing through the channels with his little remote, wolfing down Cheetos. I hope he don't choke between Monday night football and Friday night fights. I'm lucky if I get to see a show that I like. He never hears the phone or the doorbell ring. I don't try to understand him. It's a mess.